Absolutely, yeah. Let's talk to Chris Forian from the Leicester Till I Die fanzine. How you doing, Chris?
Good morning, gentlemen. Ho, 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 and Merry Christmas to both.
Merry Christmas to you, Chris. Very upbeat. Upbeat. Quite often the podcast of the fanzine editors not as upbeat. Chris is the most upbeat of them, I would say. And I suppose we're good.
Second in the league.
Yeah.
Say, what do you expect?
What did you, Chris? What did you make of that Spurs that victory at Spurs?
Totally unexpected, and that's the problem with Leicester this season. We go away and we've had, as your previous caller said, we're brilliant away, and we'll go away and we'll play like that and get a 2-0 win. And I don't care what Jose said, the worst team lost.
Yes.
And yet we'll host Fulham at home and we'll lose to the bottom team that's not won all season.
Yeah, it's hard to put. The away form is quite interesting. That only Liverpool really have an excellent home record in the Premier League this season. But you did play well at Spurs. I mean, Spurs weren't at it at all, but you did play really well. I thought in the midfield you sort of dominated that.
I don't think there was a point in that game when I was worried about their attack. And to say that again about a Tottenham side that's got Kane in who scores against us just for turning up. Yeah. That's an amazing thing to say. Problem is with Leicester, I know that opposition fans could say that about us and Vardy some games, and that's the scary thing. I mean, we've won 9 games this season, exactly the same as Liverpool, more than any other team in the Premier League, and yet we've not drawn any, and that's been the problem for us.
Do you think it must be nice being a Leicester fan? And how long ago is it since you won the league? Is it 3 years, 4 years? I'm always rubbish at this sort of thing.
2000 and about 5 years. Yeah,
5 years. So everyone then said, "Oh, this is a flash in the pan." They were lucky, but here you are, still up there, still pushing for the league, and still playing great football. That must delight you as a Leicester fan.
It does. I mean, you look back at that in an amazing year, and you sort of still pinch yourself to think that it happened, and yet we struggled a bit after that. I think expectations sort of got the better of us, and it took us a couple of seasons to sort of get things right. But when you look where we are now, we've probably got one of the best managers, in my eyes, anyway, in the league. Mm-hmm. We've got an amazing training ground that, you take any player into there, I think there's only probably Man City that sort of touches it. You've got to be impressed with where we are going.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point, Charlie, I was definitely one saying Leicester should just give up now, that's it. It's not going to get better than that, have your Champions League run and say, we've done football now, we can't improve. But they haven't. Do you know who I thought Ndidi was so good? You mentioned that sort of like stifling the Tottenham attack. I thought Ndidi did that absolutely brilliantly, Chris.
He did, and I mean, it's nice to have him back. And what you've got to remember is that we are where we are, and I've always hated teams using this as an excuse, but we've had an horrendous injury problem this season. At one point, our first choice back four were all out. Mm-hmm. I mean, us, and in fairness, Liverpool had the worst injury list in the league, and we were playing twice a week because we had the Europa League as well, and that's all credit to Brendan. Where we are now with the injuries we've had. When all the players are slowly coming back now, it's scary to think what we might be able to do.
On Brendan, do you hope that Arsenal pick up some form soon? Because obviously when Arsenal do badly, and Brendan is often top of the list of people to come in and take over. But, who's to say Arsenal are a bigger club than Leicester?
I was about to say, why would Brendan want to go to a smaller club? No disrespect to Arsenal. I mean, Brendan, he did what he did in Scotland, and it was amazing. And you could argue, well, that was Scotland. He's come back now to build his reputation. What he's going to get with us, while he's doing what he's doing, is time. And I know we've gone through a few managers recently ourselves, but if he can keep us sort of in that top 6, 7 season after season, he's got a job for as long as he wants it. He's got that new training ground. Our owners have got a bit of money. Yes, they're struggling with COVID like everybody else is because they're in the sort of, the travel business. But he can do so much with Leicester. And if he can make us into the team that the potential is there to do, in 5 or 6 years' time, he won't be bothering with Arsenal, you'll have Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich coming in for him.
Can I ask a quick question about Christian Fuchs? Because he doesn't want, as far as I understand, he's been trying to leave for ages, and he's being held against his will. Like his wife's in New York. He's got a football academy in New York. He keeps saying, "No, I'm done now," and they say, "You couldn't just sign one more contract." And he goes, "Oh, all right, as long as I don't have to play much." And then he's
like
playing. He's like playing every week. He's like a captor being videoed going, "I'm being treated very well."
You know the Eagles are re-releasing Hotel California and calling it Leicester City, don't you? I tell you what, not just there's a couple of players, Christian Fuchs, Wes Morgan, and Mendy as well. Papa Mendy in the centre midfield has been standing in for Ndidi, all who are sort of just re-signed, sort of 1 year extensions. We couldn't have done without them, and. Yes, I mean, every year he says he wants to go and be with his wife and his kids, and I understand that. But he loves the club, otherwise he wouldn't still be with us, and I don't think he thought, in fairness, he probably looked at it thinking, like, what, they're giving me that much money just to sit on the bench for every week? And yet suddenly, because of the injury problems we've had, He's played more times in one season so far than he's played in the previous 3.
Yeah, poor bloke. He said, "I don't want to do this." Picked again. He's like, Brendan announces the team, and he's like, "Oh, not again. I don't want to do this again. This is not what I signed up for." Listen, Chris, enjoy the game today.
Thanks so much. We're going to win
Cheers,
for
Chris.
the first time in 6 years. We're going to get one over on United.
All right, Chris Florian there from Leicester Till I Die.